Hello Leo, welcome to Monarch Intuition, and today I'm going to be doing your March 2023 mid-monthly check-in reading for you. So if you're new to my channel, what I like to do is I like to pull one major arcana to see the energy and then clarify with a different deck. So what major arcana needs to come up for the sign of Leo? What's going on for you? You have the Lovers. So divine connection right here. So this could be that an angel is actually guiding you to what you're supposed to be doing or who you are supposed to be with, okay? So with the Lover's energy, there's a lot going on the card. There is the devil climbing up the tree of knowledge of good and evil. They're Adam and Eve. There's an angel blessing them. They are in the Garden of Eden right here. So when we look at this energy, it does represent that it's some sort of foreshadowing, because when we look at the devil card, which comes after the Lover's card, few cards down the line, it is a perverse version of the Lovers. They're, instead of Archangel Michael, I believe it's Michael or Gabriel, instead of them blessing Adam and Eve, it's the devil chaining Adam and Eve to a podium right here. So there's also that element of foreshadowing with that snake climbing up the tree, or slithering up the tree, representation of the devil later on. So there is a lot to think about right here. We have to think about the Lovers as a multifocal kind of lens. We can't just say, oh, it's just about love, it's just about connection. It's that there is also some sort of minor deception that can happen. Yes, there is something that you're supposed to be guided to, but at the same time, there can be something evil and sinister behind something else, okay? So I do feel like there is a state right here that does represent perfection, or at least close to perfection. So it could be, a good relationship, a good home, or good something like that. But there's that element of temptation that's still lurking behind the system, or lurking behind the tree. So let's look at this Lover's energy. It's kind of like, you have to look at every card as having a positive and having a negative to it, all right? When we look at, say, the Sun card, it's also foreshadowing. The sun is on the card, the Death card. The child's riding the same white horse. The sun is setting and the moon is coming up. That's the, it's like a sequence of events. We can't just think of death as this horrible thing. We can't look at the sun as this beautiful thing. Yes, life is beautiful. Having a child is a beautiful situation, but at the end of the day, it's still foreshadowing the concept of death, right? So what do we need to know about this Lover's energy? And even the Moon card. The Moon card sits in between the pillars of the same pillars that the sun is setting on the Death card. The Moon card is rising between those two pillars when we look at the Moon card. So it does have a multi-situation. Even on the Magician card, you have the Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Cups. So what do we need to know about this Lover's energy? What's going on? You have the Seven of Swords. There it is. The Queen of Wands and the Page of Swords in reverse. The Seven of Swords is that deception. The Queen of Wands, you're sitting there, you're looking good, but then all of a sudden there's that deception, and you have to be smart enough to see it with that Page of Swords in reverse. You have to be able to look at deception right here and outwit with some sort of cleverness, okay? You can't just say, oh, this is a good card, or oh, this is a good situation. Depending on the cards that are surrounding it, the Lover is a good card, but remember, there's that snake. The snake did what? Tricked Adam and Eve. What is the Seven of Swords? The card of thievery and trickery, right? So let's look at the Seven of Swords, and it's sitting on the same side that Adam and Eve, or Eve is sitting on, because the Eve is sitting on this side and Adam's on this side. It might be reversed with the image, but if I'm looking at the card, Eve is sitting on the left side, and then Adam's sitting right here, and it's the same side that the Seven of Swords is on. So what's going on? What's the Seven of Swords? Six of Swords with the Wheel of Fortune. You got to be clever, just like something is trying to be clever with you, okay? Because the tables can always turn. You need to be able to use some sort of clever idea or some sort of cleverness to your advantage right here, all right? There could be victory with this Wheel of Fortune. For example, imagine if Eve had just not taken the apple and then said to God later on, hey, that snake tried to tempt me to take the apple. She would have won that situation. There would have been, a great change. This is you can outsmart something, outwit something. If you just see the cleverness and the trickery and deception behind something, you can understand it and mold it to your own advantage right here. So in a way, something is playing games with you and you're playing games with something else. What's this Queen of Wands? Six of Pentacles and the Seven of Swords again. Someone is trying to give you something, but at the same time, they're trying to get away with more than what they're supposed to have. Someone's trying to give you deception and you're trying to give someone else deception. So this is kind of like two different modes right here. I think you know something is tricky and someone knows that you're tricky as well. Someone's trying to give you something, in return you're trying to give them something, and if you receive this one thing and they receive that thing, it's kind of like you both tricked each other. So this is like a reverse image. Page of Swords, you have the Knight of Pentacles and the Five of Wands. Your best option is to be happy with what you have and not try to fight for anything else right here, okay? Even if you see other people doing other things, your goal is to just kind of pull back from some sort of energy, all right? You don't want to be involved in whatever this is. You don't want to be involved in a fight. You don't want to be involved in, even if something slows down or completely stops, it wants you to get involved and fight with this situation. The Ace of Pentacles, with the Knight of Pentacles holding the same Ace of Pentacles, right? Something is trying to offer you something, or maybe you have to wait for something to be offered to you. What is this? The Devil. This is the Hierophant. Okay. The Devil's trying to be holy and offer you something. This is like an archdemon right here. Underneath the Lovers. It's a mirror image of something. Someone's trying to mirror you. You're trying to mirror them. You're both trying to turn the tables on one another. Someone's trying to give you something. You're trying to give them something. You got to be clever. They're trying to be clever. There are two keys underneath the Hierophant, though. So 4 is important, I feel like. Something dealing with the number 4. 4 and 6. We have the Nine of Wands. We have the Page of Wands. So there is some sort of situation where someone knows that you're going through a really rough time. They know that you're victorious, right? You're victorious in something, and they want to offer you something to try to make you look better, seem better, and have mastery over a situation. It's kind of like, think of the movie The Witch. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, but if you haven't seen that movie, go and watch it. In the movie The Witch, the girl goes through this entire sequence of events of her family getting killed off, and then at the end, she survived, but the devil is like, would you like something nice? This is, and especially with the Queen of Wands right here, this does represent a witch. Someone who has her own kingdom, her own money, her own, power. She is married to the King of Wands, but at the same time, she runs her own situation, whereas the other kings and queens fall subservient to the kings, right? Except the Queen of Wands, right? And that's what really makes her a witch, is that she doesn't fall subservient to her husband. The devil is over the Queen of Wands right here, which is an accurate representation of Lilith, because when we look at Aries and the devil energy, Aries is fire, then you have Capricorn, the sea goat, right? So Lilith was the mother of all demons. And if we notice, the Queen of Wands has her legs open. And she has that serpent. And remember, magicians could turn their stabs into snakes with that lover's energy crawling up the tree. So it's like someone is offering you something right here, some sort of power, gift, whatever, to mold you into something else. But you see it as being tricky because you know what trickery is. And someone's trying to give you something in a tricky manner. So they want you to accept something knowing, I feel like, here's the thing. someone knows that you know they're tricky, okay? And you expect that if you accept something from this person, they're going to trick you, right? And I feel like that person is upfront about it. It's like, yeah, if you accept it, I'm going to trick you one day. But you know that because I'm being upfront with you. So it's up to you. Do you really want whatever this is that bad? Page of Pentacles, the Eight of Wands, the Five of Cups. Yeah, because you know that it's going to eventually end up in the Five of Cups when you least expect it. Something that you get quickly turns into the Five of Cups. The Three of Pentacles and the Hermit. But it gives you something, a great thing. It's illuminated to you, something that's beautiful, something that's grand. The World Completion with a wish, with the Nine of Cups. I'm going to switch over. I'm going to switch decks real quick, okay? A work reveals something. A work reveals... Okay, I think I know what this is. You have something that reveals something right here. And because you reveal something, I feel like someone wants to offer you a wish. Because this is kind of like... This is like you knowing something very dark and sinister. And so someone is like, okay, well, here's some hush money. And it could solve all of your problems, but you know if you take that hush money, chances are, like, think of every single type of movie, right? When someone accepts the deal with whatever it is, it always backfires on them. That's what this is right here. It's like accepting the hush money. And here's the thing. Had they not have done what they did, if they weren't such an evil person, I doubt you would be in whatever situation it is right here. This is kind of like, we have the Seven of Cups holding the snake. I don't know if you can see that, but this is kind of like, you know something, right? And the devil wants to give you reprieve over a situation. It's like, well, I can make everything better for you, right? But had the devil not tricked Eve, you wouldn't be in this situation. So, like, you have to go further back than that. It's like, this person made the situation bad, and now they're trying to pay you off to make it better, but you know that if you take something from them, they're only going to make it worse. The Wheel of Fortune, the Devil, and the Four of Swords. Because you know what's underneath the bed. You always know that something has the upper hand. You always know that there's something hidden. And that's what the cleverness is that you know. It's kind of like when the devil said to Eve, you won't die. But he really meant that you won't die then. Ten of Cups, the Seven of Scepters. You need to push back on the Ten of Cups right here. The Eight of Knights, even if it feels like you're in a really trapped, stuck position. The Temperance is going to alchemize something to give you something later. The Nine of Knives, you have a really, really hard time understanding what's going on. You're having a really difficult time figuring out what's going on within your life. This is kind of like someone is stalking you mercilessly, right? Just so they can say, well, I'll stop stalking you if you accept this. And it's like, well, you wouldn't be in that situation if they weren't stalking you, right? So what's this Nine of Knives? The Hierophant. So this is kind of like wanting you to look at God right here. Okay, so you have the devil with the Hierophant, and then you have a Hierophant coming out. It's like the angel is delivering something right when it gets really bad for you with this Nine of Knives anxiety, and all of a sudden you see the Hierophant. You see the truth behind something, a wish, the Six of Knives, and the Magician. Now the Hierophant's offering you a wish. And you're sailing away as the Magician. So here's the thing, right? The devil is most associated to the card, the magician. The high priestess is more associated to the hierophant, right? Because it was originally called the Pope and the Popist. So those two are like, match made in heaven. When we look at the devil, the magician are actually bound to one another. A lot of people say it's, the opposite way, like high priestess, magician. So now you have the hierophant trying to offer the magician something. Because you don't accept something from the devil. You give something, even though it feels really bad to do. You have the Five of Wands, conflict, the Four of Skulls, because you hold on to something. You have a grip on your emotions right here. You're not wanting to rush out and get angry about something. You just kind of like sail away from it. While you're sailing away from something, someone's trying to give you a wish. It's like you've turned down both opportunities. Whatever this is, it's like, the devil's trying to trick you. You feel like the hierophant's trying to trick you. And so you say, I'm not going to get tricked by anyone. I'm going off and doing my own thing. Now you have people, even though it seems like a really bad situation, you're just tired of people playing games with you. You're tired of everyone trying to turn the table on this. It's kind of like clockwork. It's like, someone's trying to turn the table on you over here. You feel like this situation could turn the table on you. You don't know what's true. You don't know what's real. The Bible does say test the spirits to make sure that they are from God, right? So, but I feel like you just don't want to. I feel like ultimately you're tired of everything. You want to leave the Five of Wands in the background. You just want to sail away, right? You want to sail away with what you know, with what you have. You're holding on to your emotions. You're just tired of it. That's ultimately this whole goal right here. Someone is trying to connect you. And that's the duality of the Lovers, is that you have the angel blessing you, but you have the snake crawling up the tree. So there are two dualities right here fighting over the magician. It's kind of like the concept of good and evil, right and wrong. You don't know what to do. You don't know who's good. You don't know what's good, because the devil can masquerade around as light. Angels say don't be afraid because they're so terrifying. And so it's kind of like you're at a crossroads to a situation. You have the Death card. Well, you're at an ending to a situation. The Lovers again. And the Ten of Wands. Yeah, you're just dropping everything. You're just dropping everything all at once. The Queen of Skulls, Nine of Scepters, the Four of Scepters, with the Nine of Skulls. This Queen of Skulls is kind of scary right here, because it does represent Capricorn energy, which is the devil. Once again, not all Capricorns are evil or anything like that. I'm just using it for this. You got a lot of negative energy, right? And the Queen of Skulls is a negative card because it sits on the negative polarity. So you have death as a transformation sequence and an ending. So an ending with a new beginning, right? The Lovers represents dropping that situation. You're just dropping it. You're done. All right? So it's kind of like you have something right here and the apple is up to your lips, right? And you're saying you have the apple in your hand, or you have whatever this is in your hand, and you're about to take a bite of it, but your conscience is telling you to not, and the devil's telling you to do so. And you don't know what to do, so you drop it. Ultimately, the Queen of Skulls, that pentacle, right? You feel burned by the situation with the Knight of Wands. You're going back and looking at this because you've overcome something. And you celebrate in the Nine of Skulls anyway. You celebrate in the garden by yourself. It's kind of like you walk away from everything. You walk away from everything in this garden. You're so done with whatever it is. The Ace of Wands, you have a new opportunity. You have the Five of Swords, you overcome something. That's the message, is that by you dropping something, even though it seems like a really good desire, it's like walking away from the garden when you haven't committed anything wrong, but because of this temptation and then this thing telling you no, you're just like, you know what? I'm done with everything. I'm done with both. That offers you a new opportunity. The Five of Swords represents you overcome something. The Prince of Knives, it's a message, a sharp message. The Two of Pentacles with the Two of Scepters. You have balance for a new opportunity. By you dropping both things, you see the balance for something else. You see a third idea or a third option. The third option, the Ten of Swords. Facing the mental death. That's that Nine of Swords right there. The third option is facing the ending. It's not being trapped by the Eight of Swords. It's not being stuck to the Ten of Cups. It's not getting tricked by the Seven of Swords. This is you actually facing something right here, facing a major fear. The third option is the fear that you don't want. But that's the balance with the Justice card coming out. You don't want to face justice. You're scared of justice right here. You're scared of the balance of both things. But the balance of both things is Themis. That's what you're afraid of. You're afraid of this weird kind of like ascension. The Ten of Knives represents the ending, but the Justice represents a person holding balance of the scales. It's not necessarily the balance itself, it's the person holding the scales. Holding the scales of right and wrong. You have to face the justice situation. A Page of Wands with a tower, okay. You're facing a tower of the Lord of Skulls, okay. So you have to face a destruction right here. The Queen of Scepters, okay. Nose with the Ace of Swords, the Two of Cups, the connection to the Emperor. You know the truth to connect to the Emperor. The Sun with happiness. You know the truth about connecting to something here. You have to face the third option, which is the Ten of Swords, which is the balance of the scales. You go through a tower moment, things get destroyed with the Lord of Skulls, but you know for a fact the connection to the Emperor is happiness. The Three of Wands, you're waiting for the Five of Cups with the Star. I think in a weird way, you're waiting for the ending on something right here. It's like you truly know something is bad and it's not going to go in your favor. I think you know that. But I think you ultimately know both sides are bad. Damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? So you leaving this situation is the best option. That's facing the Ten of Swords. Destroying everything that you've worked for, everything that you've built. But in the end, you know the connection to the Emperor. You know the connection to the boss. You have a connection to the boss. You see the sadness, but through the sadness, you can see the stars, a new opportunity and a new goal. That's the point, is you're looking at all these three things that are in front of you that are making you sad instead of just turning around and walking the opposite way. The Lord of Grails with the Empress. And you choose to water the Empress for victory with the Six of Scepters. So Scorpio, Libra, and the Six of Scepters. So this is definitely about facing justice right here. this is kind of like, you know, in a weird way, this is kind of like facing, say you have the Protestant and the Catholics, right? And they're both trying to try you for something. And you say, no, I'd rather not do anyone. I'm not going to choose this one. I'm not choosing this path. I have my own connection. I have my own way of worship or whatever. And so they still burn you for being a heretic, right? But you lose everything, but you still have the concept of God. So regardless is that you didn't choose their path, but you still have your own path. And by doing that, that led you to your own victory. Now, I'm not saying it's as spiritual as that. I'm just saying that by you not choosing either side of something, but by you just staying true to yourself and to what you know to be true, by what you truly believe in, regardless of what is offered to you, regardless of what you know, I feel like it's mainly about what you know, okay? And you have a direct connection and you have direct knowledge to something right here that can lead you to victory. So it's almost like you have to face the destruction, but at the end of the destruction, there's the sun. So at the end of it all, even though everything's destroyed, there's happiness, and it's over. The Daughter of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and the Strength card. So, you know, Leo, this is really difficult for you. It's really bad, but not terrible. It's just, you know, you're going to have to really, really think about what you're going to do here. Whatever you're going to do, or you're going to play into this, you know something's tricky. You know something's trying to trick you into something. You have an idea of what you want. You could have victory without this deception over here and deception over here. You have clarity. You're going to have clarity, and I feel like you need to have some sort of compassion, okay? Compassion and clarity are coming out with strength. I feel like in the end, there is compassion for you. Strength does represent protection. So you're going to have clarity. You're going to have compassion, or something is going to have compassion on you. It's kind of like the angel of strength comes out and protects you from the devil. Earth magic and infinite abundance with manifestation. I feel like your best goal is to just grow stuff. I feel like the only way you're going to have infinite abundance is if you put in the hard work to grow things in a natural, organic way. Okay? So this is what I can understand for you. It's that you have the concept to take, this path over here, this contract, but it doesn't really align with your moral goals. And then you have this opportunity over here to take this contract, but it doesn't really get you rich. It really doesn't get you anywhere that you want to be. So what you do is you walk away from both. By you walking away from both, yes, you go through a really difficult time. And you might even say, I'd rather just grow stuff. I'd rather just, you know, grow things organically. I'd rather get to where I want to be on making it my own way than relying on something. And so you do that, and you have compassion and clarity. I don't know why you're being tested so hard right here. I don't know what's going on. Premonition, determination. It was to test your determination and your tenacity to move through things. Okay, so this is to test you. You're going through a really big test right here, a really big trial. You can fail this one. You have Lady de los Muertos, acceptance and equality, and joy, rejoicing in the present. So here's the thing. I think your best way out of this situation is just to rejoice with what you have. Okay, that was that, you know, that stagnation with that, what's it called? Knight of Pentacles with that Five of Wands. It's just enjoying what you have and allowing all this stuff to take place. Don't really get involved in whatever this stuff is. You have you, problem-solving, strength under attack, protection, and stoicism. Spiritual meaning is transcendence and resurrection. This is definitely strength under attack right here. You're protected, though, but you still face things that are really bad. Brado, wagon, travel, communication, decisive action, reunion, progress. Spiritual meaning is inner path and destiny. It's kind of like just you saying it is what it is. One, joy and happiness, harmony and partnerships, positive family relationships, and good teamwork. So this is definitely, you're being treated like a heretic right here. I kind of feel like in a weird way. But I feel like there is compassion for you somehow, some way. I think if you just stay true to yourself, stay true to what you know and what you believe, you will make it out of this. But it's definitely, you know, someone's trying to trick you, and they know that you're tricky. And they don't know what you're going to do, but you know what they're going to do. So that's the problem right there, is they don't know what you're going to do, but you know what they can do. You have the Hermit. Something's being illuminated to you. So, anyway, Leo, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I'll talk to you later.